Well, hey boys and girls, out in the shop here today. It's a real crummy day outside, so we're going to come in and we're going to mess around with our Mustang a little bit. We made a little bit of progress on it, here and there, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. But today we're getting down to really the nitty gritty of what we got to do. Pretty much all bolt-on parts is what was damaged. I've removed the hood, removed the front bumper cover, which in the grill and all that is all one piece, and the lights and so forth. So now we've got to see if we can repair the damaged radiator support. I did take the radiator out of the car. The radiator's broken. The AC condenser is still in, but the system is empty, so I'm assuming that that was compromised as well. So let's take a look at what we're going to do, what we've done. Open it up a little bit anyways. So essentially right here, this area right here is where the impact was, this way. And it started to roll it over. If you compare it to the other side, see, it started to roll it over, and we've got this curved in. It's curved in quite a bit. It's funny because, like, watching the other video, it doesn't really show how much it's in, but it's in quite a bit. So we got to get that out. Now, looking at this, it's really not much to it. Just really thin sheet metal. I mean, it is doubled over, but I don't think it's really that strong. So what I'm thinking we can do is get back here farther, like maybe on our strut tower, because that's nice and strong, and put our porta power. I got our porta power out, so we'll get our porta power out and we'll put it against here, and we'll try to push it back the way it came in and see how things straighten out, see what happens. If that works okay, then this would be fairly easy. The other thing that I have done, I left a fender attached. You can see, as a comparison here, on this side, you can see this area here. The fenders on these, they roll down a little bit anyways, where they bolt right here. And that hole is, flat. Now if we come over here, see how this is rolled down more, and it actually buckled around that hole. And if you see this behind it, see it kind of, it kinked it there. As this came back, it kinked that and started to roll it in, and that's what rolled our fender. I left the fender bolted up and attached because and I don't know if this will work or not. I'm not really a body guy. But my thought is if we push this back the way that it was pushed in, maybe at the same time it'll pull some of that straight for us. So that, once again, this is not, it's a little thicker metal on the inner fender, but or the inner fender well, but not super thick. So I'm thinking maybe we can do this, but either way we're going to give it a try and see what we come up with. So I'm going to set that up and we'll give it a push. Alright, so I've got our porta power in here, just a block of wood, and we're right on the real thick part of the strut tower, shock tower, so I thought that would be a good place. So let's give it a little push and see what it does here. Going right back. Seems to be, anyways. This is actually popping up. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's it seems to be putting everything back somewhat anyways to where it was. think I'm going to maybe reposition a little bit. I don't know. It's coming right back. This is going down. This actually may be working. So let's see here. Boy, I think we're really close. I'm going to take another bite. I want to push in another spot here. Come over a little more right here. Let's see. See what this does. Okay, that's pretty good. Now the other thing we've got here is there's a bow in this. The fender is back. Took that little roll out of the fender, and this is back in. A little bit of a crease in it, but not too bad. So I think a lot of that's pretty good. But now I think we need to push more over here. So I wonder if we can actually, like, this moved really easy, it seemed to anyway. So I wonder if we can just maybe move in and push off one of these brackets on there, if that would be okay. Let me try a couple different rigs and see if I can get reset to where we can push a little differently. Alright, so I reset, and I'm right in here on the meat of this bracket going against our support. It's a little sketchy. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. We'll just take and it is moving everything out. Which seems to be looking pretty good. It's a lot straighter than it was. So that's pretty good, I think. Still got a little bit right there. Maybe we can go over and get a little bit of a bite on that. I don't know. Like I say, this little rig here is kind of sketchy. This might be a don't try this at home type thing. Now I'm going to push too hard this way. Okay. Well, that's a lot better than it was. Now I think the next thing that we got to kind of mess with is this area right here is rolled down. So it's clearly, based on the other side anyways, I think we can push a little bit right here and see what that does. Anything for us. What we may have to do after that is go on the bottom and we have to push up. So, now, let's get our other adapter. Gotta put us back where we were. You know, I bought this porta power set years ago off the tool truck, and I had it for quite a while. Never really used it much, but it's a very handy thing to have around. You want to, mess around with stuff like this. It wasn't really expensive either, if I remember right. Okay. Well, now, like I say, now I think we need to, this area needs to come up. So let me figure out what we need to rig up to do that. I may actually have to go down and push below it, like on the floor. All right, let me get that set and then we'll take push there. Okay, so I took a little push right in here, up from the floor, and that came up a lot. Much better. Much better. Straighten it up pretty good. I think we're almost at the point, like I say, things have come back pretty decently. I think we're almost at the point. A pair of vice grips. Fold this lip back over. We're almost at the point where we're going to need to have some replacement parts to see how stuff is starting to fit together. But we may have to do a little bit of tweaking on it at that point. But I think basically got the shape back. And it's roughly in the correct position. Like I say, I'm going to say roughly because I don't think it's exactly where it needs to be. But I think we're pretty close. Let's get it. It's hard because it does a couple of different things. I think this whole deal right here still needs to come up just a little bit. I think, because see, this part here is still rolled up a little bit. I think maybe we'll take one more push in this area right here and see what follows it. But like I say, we've gotten a lot of it out, and probably, I don't know how much of a panel alignment. how much movement we're going to be able to move, you know, get when we're doing that. But I think maybe another little shot right in there. Let's see what that gets us. Okay, so we're set. Let's see what we can get here. I really don't think that's too bad. This, that goes down. This may still be down just a hair. But I think that's pretty good. That's good enough. Like I say, I can go out, I can take some measurements off one of the other cars to see exactly where we're at. But I think we're pretty close. There's a little bit of stuff that's pushed up down here. It's going to have to be straightened up by the looks, but no, just a little bit. A little bit of a crease right there, and a little bit, we're still just a hair here. But like I say, the fender feels pretty good. So I think it's good. I think we're good. Okay. One other thing that I don't know. Sorry about that. Remember what I said about it would crank over, but it wouldn't start. It would fire and then die. Yeah, see, we got to fold. We got to pull this stuff out, fold it over a little bit. Oh, there. But that's not going to bother us at all with anything if that's not 100% perfect, I don't think. But anyways, when you get looking back up in here, I took the battery out. The battery tray, of course, is smashed. This connector right here, which comes out of this harness and goes to this ground right here, was like that. I mean, the connector's, you know, broken and it was apart. So I just took and stuck the two of them together and tried it. Car fired right up and ran like brand new. So just something, I guess, keep in mind if you ever have one of these. Like I say, it sure did act to me like the inertia switch, but it was not. It was this little guy right here. So that took care of that. So there you have it. I think we're kind of at the point where we've got to find some parts somewhere. And we'll try those on, and then we can have a real good idea of what more we need to do, or if we need to, or what. Like I say, I think we're pretty close. We've got it pretty close. It's still got, to me, it seems like it's still got a little bit of a bow in the center of it, you know, this way. But it may not matter. As long as the hood latch and everything lines up, if it's got a little bit of bow, I don't think it'll hurt anything. So, alright, there you have it. I guess that's about it for this one. I don't know how much we'll be back. Like I say, there's not a lot more to do here without parts and pieces. So we'll come back, and if we don't find anything right away, we'll do something else. The other thing that we're looking at is, as you know, and there's been a number of videos in the past from when we were out west of us doing autocross events with a number of different cars that we had. There is autocross here. It's a little janky. It's a little janky, I think. Not exactly what it was out west. So what I did find is the SCCA here in this area does have rallycross, and they run rallycross all year long. Rallycross, for anyone who doesn't know, is exactly the same thing as autocross, which is a course set up with cones, cones or markers or stuff like that that you go around and you're timed. Autocross is done on, blacktop parking lots, airports, that type of thing. Where rallycross is done in the dirt, in the snow, in the mud, grass, whatever. So it has a whole different perspective to it. So that is here. So I'm kind of looking around, and they do it all year round, which is kind of cool. So I'm kind of looking around, trying to find either a decent front-wheel drive, but what I really like to find is another Subaru. I do have one Subaru out back. I've got an Impreza, all-wheel drive, hatchback, wagon type thing out back that runs good. It's a manual transmission. Driveline is very good in it, but it's very, very rusty. And those cars rut out in the rear strut area, which is actually pretty easy to repair. But the problem with this one particular car is all the suspension cradles in the rear and in the front are rotted out too. So I don't think that's a viable candidate for it. We've pretty much stripped it, and a lot of stuff's gone off it, and but it's still a running driving car. So if I could find another one of that type of car that needed an engine or a transmission or something like that, for I don't want to spend a lot of money for it, but that we can put together and go do some rallycross with it, that I think would be fun. And Camera Girl's all excited. She loves that type of stuff. So we're kind of looking at that. So if we find something, we'll have some things to do, I'm sure, on anything like that. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep looking for some parts for our Mustang. I do have off the black car, the 86 hatchback, I do have a quad headlight front bumper cover set up and grill and all that. I do have that, and I have the hood off that car, but it's a fiberglass 3-inch cowl hood, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I think on this car would look stupid. So I'm not thinking of using that. I'd rather find a completely stock front end setup, headlights, and a stock hood to put on this particular car for what it's going to do. I mean, it's just going to be a cruise around fun car, and it's not a hot rod. It doesn't need a cowl hood, and if anything, she's a little shorter, so I think something like that would hinder her vision out the front. It kind of, cowl hoods, if you're familiar with them and all, they kind of take away half of your field of vision if you're looking over the top of it. So I don't know about that. I don't want to use that. Besides, it's for the other car anyways, and that car is going to be more of a straight up, just badass, ridiculous hot rod at some point. So we'll keep parts for that. But so that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to click the like button. I thank you all for subscribing. Those who haven't, who stopped by, please do. We do all kinds of interesting stuff here. And what we think is interesting. If we don't think it's interesting, we don't film it. That's why a lot of times there's not stuff filmed. The other day I put, filters and belts on my big John Deere tractor and got the snowblower going, so it's ready for, it's ready for snow. And I didn't film any of that because to me, I don't think it's interesting. But something like we did today, I think it's kind of neat. So there you have it. So until the next time that we meet, thanks for watching, and take it easy.